Steven, I had the most insane coincidence happen this weekend, and it was crazy. You're not even going to believe this, right?
I'm
So,
not going to believe it. There's no
Steven,
way.
you know me. You know I love horror movies.
Mhm.
I have T-shirts. I have socks. I have paraphernalia, as it were. I have all sorts of horror-related things. This weekend, I just happened to be casually wearing a Jason Voorhees shirt. I'm just walking around with a shirt of Jason mask on. The best
As
man,
normal people do.
just as normal people do. The best man of the wedding that I was attending this weekend, he shows up on this day, not at the day of the wedding, but afterward. He shows up wearing a sweater that looks much like this, and he's like, "Hey, it's funny that you are wearing that shirt right now." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I just went to this place this morning," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, and he turns around, and it has this on that. Steven, it turns out that where I was for the wedding was exactly where they shot Friday the 13th. I had no idea.
Oh my God. So you just look like someone who knew about that and wore the shirt to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
relevant at the event.
And I had no idea. I just happened to be wearing this thing. And he was like, dude, there's a diner where they shot the movie. Scenes take place in the movie. You can go check it out. They have stuff like, fun, things from the movie all around and like pictures of Jason and all this stuff. It's the exact diner that was in the movie. You can go there. And I was like, I will hope I get to do that. And then we did. And just like, it just became
Dude,
part of my
that's so awesome though.
And
But
then so I bought
what
a
a
shirt.
weird friggin' coincidence. It's
Right?
almost like your body just sensed it. It knew it was close to its Jason
Like, yeah, I
Bornholm, you
feel
know?
like yeah, I feel a Voorhees in the force. Like I just like I knew this to happen. It was amazing. And Steven, I didn't even die at all. Maybe because I was wearing this helmet, Steven. No, I
Yes,
wasn't.
this
I was,
protective, super awesome helmet that I had to take the internal padding out of to fit my giant head.
oh, Steven, these helmets are not comfortable. Let's get the show started so we can take these things off. Hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
Every week, my best friend Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles that life throws our way. We look through the blinking light of the death helmets that we wear that are thrust upon us, and we see a future that's worth seeing. Steven, we're doing our best to overcome the issues and make something in the world. What are we working on, Steven? What are we working on in the world?
Currently, we are working to get through a side project of ours known as Bloodlust, which is a lusty comedy vampiric death awesome book.
Death
That
awesome book. It's like putting
it's
quotes.
basically we're really putting in a lot of cool effort to turn somewhat of a smutty like comic into like a cool concept. So we're currently working on issue 2 of that while also juggling issues 4 and 5 of Deathless.
Right. And Deathless is our supernatural superhero culty comedy comic. It's like a D&D inspired kind of fantasy comedy book. And if you want to check it out, you can buy all the issues below, or you can just go to wehaveissuespodcast.com. We have all of our books available there. We've been launching Kickstarters for every book, and thankfully we've been successful so far. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
hoping that issue 4 is just as, if not more successful. But this week, just like every week, we had issues. We had a lot
Super
going on.
issues.
It's been a busy week. Steven, why don't you tell me about your week first? Tell me about your weekend. What'd you go through?
So my week was your typical work week in the Florida sun, but then Thursday we had to get to sleep early. I did not, because we had a 9 hour and 20 minute drive ahead of us to North Georgia. So we packed. Tina and I showered the night before, and it's like 11 o'clock, and my alarm is set for 2 a.m. And I'm just like, dude, when that alarm went off, I was so mad. So then it's just like we left our house by 3:30 and we drove all the way to North Georgia and we got there by about 2 o'clock. So I was super tired. But it
Yeah.
was a really good time though. So like it was my family with my girls and Tina, and then Tina's brother, like my brother-in-law, his wife, their kids, so my nephews, and then Tina's grandma and grandpa, Tina's mom and husband, and Tina's uncle. So it
Mhm.
was just like all of us in this 3-story cabin in Ellijay, Georgia. It was a really good time.
Cabin.
Dude,
That's wow, cool.
it was really cool. And
Human
I've driven North Georgia before, but man, as a Florida boy, I don't know how people like that live up in North Georgia, because like there are times where you turn where your hood is higher than your line of sight. So
Oh God.
you're
Yeah.
just kind of blind right hand turning. Like and then like when you're going to the cabins, like some of the roads are like gravel roads, so it's
Yeah.
dude, it's very up, like
Oh
huge
yeah.
inclines. It's just not a Florida boys, like I like my flatland so much. Like whenever we like
Seems a
get
flat
like
earther. Just
yeah.
let's get that out of the way. No,
But you can literally tell it's so funny because like I basically know the trip like the back of my hand now. But like once you leave like Macon and like you're kind of making your way to Valdosta, Georgia, the ground's already starting to flatten out.
yeah.
And then by the time you get to Ocala, Tampa, like it's just the sweet, sweet sea level. Like there's no elevations, and my
Just how we
body
like.
just craves it.
Yep.
But dude, this cabin, it was a three-story cabin. There
Yeah.
was like 5 or 6 bedrooms in it.
Hmm.
The shelves were stocked with plenty of liquor, snacks, good food. We had home cooked meals for breakfast, lunch, and
Steven,
dinner.
hang on. I do want you to continue, but I want to tell you the difference between your cabin and my cabin is so hilarious, and our experience. The difference is so funny that I can't wait to tell you about my weekend. But go on, go
It-
on.
so on this cabin had like of course, just like anywhere like up somewhere they're on property, and this cabin I would say was at least on an acre or two property. And dude, there was a creek, like a running creek,
Nice.
like with go cascading over stones and stuff. There's rainbow trout in the creek that they stock, and like Eddie actually caught a rainbow trout with a pocket lure. He just basically grabbed a bunch of fishing line because he didn't have a
Yeah.
pole, put a bait like a worm jig on it, and like casted it, and actually caught, like, just
Oh
tugged
my
it out of
God,
the water.
that's
It was so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the girls had a blast. So whoever owns this cabin though,
Okay.
I believe owned like the cabins in the area. So it's like a B&B situation where they're just wealthy people who buy a bunch of stuff. But, and this is coming from me who also has beliefs in the Christian, but you know, when you're a believer, there's levels, right? There's levels. Like I am super secular still. Like I believe in Jesus, blah blah blah. But I don't buy board games
Hang on.
based on my faith.
Hang on. Wait. Let's put a pin on this. I can't wait to talk about a faith-based board game. I can't wait.
We just need to hear the difference between these cabins.
No. I just really can't. I love the idea that like one day, Steven, I hate the fact that you're ever gonna die, but if it has to happen, I hope that you're right. I hope there is some sort of heaven. I hope that you do get a chance to meet Jesus and he gets a chance to look you in your beautiful eyes and say, Jesus, blah 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 stuff. Steven. Steven? And it was just like gets you. He's
What
like,
was
yeah,
the blah blah blah? Did you just Elaine Bennis me? Like
did you use the lane Bendis me? I watched every episode of We Have Issues. I'm one of your subscribers, okay? I
I
was
was the first subscriber actually.
wait,
It said unknown, but I am known,
when
and
you
I
only
should have
saw
been known.
when you only saw one line of likes. That was me. And like Prince footprints. You
Wait,
get it.
yeah. I was gonna say when you were walking in the, yeah, like you were going for the sand thing. Like
Yeah. The
there's
sand
only
thing,
one
but
set of
like
footprints. It's because I was carrying the podcast.
okay,
But
okay.
but yeah, dude.
Steven, I need to hear about this. So when you were at this cabin,
Well,
you
let me just like kind of go. So then we like so we thought we didn't even like our room was cool. It was like 4 full-size bunks.
yeah,
So like we just stayed with our kids in we had our room. But then Eddie, Christina, and the boys, they gave them the bottom floor, which had like the pool table and stuff like that. It's like a more spacious area for like them. Which Cody and Camden, they're teenagers. Eddie, it just made more sense.
yeah.
Um, but downstairs, so first off, I went down there like the following day after they had woken up, and they're like, those curtains don't close. And I'm like, what? He's like, Camden's like, those curtains don't close. And it's horrifying. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, Steven, Uncle Steven, you know how you can see that playground like 20 feet away? Because there's like a playground in our backyard. And he goes, it's so dark you can't see past the concrete on the patio. So like I'm like I just feel like things are looking in at me because it's like the Georgia woods, the Georgia wilderness is right there. So then of course we got on the topic of skinwalkers and all
Yeah.
of that, and like it was just like a creepy good time because it really does get so dark in the woods
It,
at night.
it's so dark, dude. And
So dark.
the
And like
sounds
this,
are so interesting.
there's so many sounds, dude.
Especially when it's like where I was, it was raining and then like on and off. And then when it's not raining, you hear little weird droplets coming from the trees randomly throughout the night.
Hmm.
And it's very unsettling at times. So, but
It
go on.
is. It's just a different atmosphere because
Really is.
we never grew up in a major city, but let's be real, we still live in a pretty sizable city. Like our area is very developed. So anyway, so then like so we were down there talking about that, and then Eddie comes out of the room of like the master that's attached to like that lower floor, and he's like, they have like a Faith board game, and he pulls this board game out, and I called it Faith Manji because,
Oh my God.
but dude, like I didn't study it too much, but dude, like a preliminary scan of the rules, you had like you got blessings and you had sin coins. So like if you sinned, you gained coins, and like it's and Canon goes, you start in the Garden of Eden, and it ends on basically the Ragnarok. Well, not
That's
Ragnarok, but,
yeah,
but
of
it
course.
and the final days. It
Yeah,
ends on the apocalypse.
apocalypse.
Basically, you start in the Garden of
Yeah,
Eden,
like
and so it's like I was like, my
like a raptor.
God,
There's a oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
amazing, dude.
It's
I
and
want to play this now. I
Tina
reminds
broke it
me.
down. She says it looks like the game of life, basically,
Okay,
but
it's funny
faith.
that they have that like the game of life that I because I do remember I stopped in Cape Coral one day. I stopped on the way to like the mall or something because I saw a garage sale and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what they have. And they had a bunch of board games and movies and stuff. Because I you know me, I always want to see like cheap movies and stuff. You know, especially back then, like high school. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some DVDs or whatever. They had Bibleopoly. It was Bibleopoly, and I was just like, oh my God, you can buy these very specific religious.
By the walls of Jericho. They may not be standing the whole time. You may lose out on that investment, pending what. But that's
Oh,
crazy, though.
it's insane. It's like the fact that I kind of want to buy these games. I want to play these games
Because
because
and that's one thing that growing up in it and like being a part of it. Even when I was little, man, I could never get on board in any regard with anything that was trying to be something that it wasn't.
oh my,
Like
I mean
it's
it's the
like
hip hop teacher of it
it's
all.
so bad, you know? It's like,
Want
listen,
to do math? You gotta
what
be
you
smart.
yeah,
Don't be stupid. You gotta start doing math. You can't do that. It's
you
never gonna work.
can't.
It doesn't make people
You
happy.
just
I
can't.
mean,
Some people are able to like find weight because I think that's the problem is like for me, things like that need to be subtly done,
right.
not loudly done. And if they're loudly done, they come off as so I don't know, man. So, anyways, seeing a face where you get sin tokens and everything, it was pretty funny. But yeah, like looking around the cabin, they're definitely like, yeah, they're just some couple of wealthy people.
So, Steven, what happened with the rest of your trip? Anything else?
So yeah, we just had a good time. I think the most impressive part, well, first off, the funniest thing for me is we had this huge talk with the girls. Like, please do not make us stop multiple times. We're gonna try, but if the faster the better with this, okay? So on our way up, the girls don't even ask to go to the bathroom once. It
Okay.
is literally Tina every time. She's like, I'm sorry. Because she's the one that's setting the rule. And it's
Oh,
just
that's
so
so
funny.
funny. That's so funny. That's why like I'm actually I'm so glad with KT whenever we travel, we both are just like, look, we got to stop. There's no shame. Let's never shame each other on it because like it just happens. And like that, like Tina didn't want to be the one.
I
She was
know.
like,
And
I
I
set the
don't,
rule.
and I'm not being abrasive with it. I just thought it was super
Oh,
funny because like,
so funny when that happens though. Oh my God.
but on our way home, we spent time there. We had awesome meals. Like I said, we went to a winery, a Georgia winery. It was pretty cool. Um, I bought a bottle of blackberry wine. It's super
Ooh,
good.
nice.
Um, but on the way home, so Sunday night, we were gonna leave at like 3 in the morning Monday, basically
Mhm.
over Sunday. But it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and like everyone was talking about going to bed, and Tina and I just kind of looked at each other like, want to just go overnight, like drive overnight, and
Oh,
like, and she's like, yeah, and like, so we basically just decided like on a whim to just, yeah, we'll just you guys are not going to wake up until here. Now we won't disturb you. We'll just head out. So we did,
oh,
and we were home. We only stopped once on the way home at night. We
that's awesome.
literally drove from Ellijay all the way to Valdosta, which was I was at a quarter tank. We all got out, peed, got coffees,
Yeah,
got whatever. Then from Valdosta all the way to home, dude. From
that's awesome. That's
8:50 we left North Georgia, basically like less than an hour from Tennessee. Like
yeah.
that's how far North Georgia.
Ooh,
And then made it all the way to Cape Coral by 6:31.
that's awesome.
Super
That's
impressive
such a good
time.
yeah. That's a good trip and also smart because the girls were probably pretty
They
tired.
were out, dude, and they
Yeah.
loved it too. They're like, They passed out. They woke up at Valdosta to use the restroom. They fought for a little bit because they're both cranky, passed back out, and then woke up in our driveway. So
Perfect.
they're,
That's
dude,
a perfect
for
trip.
them, it was just time travel. Like they just
Oh my
went
gosh.
to sleep in Georgia, woke up at home, you know?
Oh, that's
Which
incredible.
as a kid, like, it's so funny because they're so unappreciative. They're like,
Oh god.
oh, this is so boring, Dad. And it's like, I I know I was in your spot when I was a child. I used to complain about being a passenger on these trips, but man, I have to drive these trips now. And like, you don't know the glory
You'll
you're in right now,
understand.
child.
Yeah.
You can literally just
Stay
exist.
here
Yeah,
as
stay
long
here.
as
So
you
you'll
can.
know one day.
Yeah.
You'll be the one. Well, you probably won't be because but you may be the one
Gonna
that
be the
has to
car. The
drive.
car's gonna be complaining and shaking its fist at you while you
Yeah.
pee in the back seat,
Mm.
because it's gonna have a toilet that just
I
somehow.
got to have a fun. Speaking of peeing in the back seat,
Oh,
I
okay.
got to have
I'm in. Let's go.
some. What's cool is Samuel, our husky, was gifted to or was given to us by my mom, who had a litter of huskies. So my mom still has his brothers. So this cool little thing is that every time we go on vacation, we just drop Samuel off at my mom's, and he gets to hang out with his brothers. So, but
Yeah.
when we were dropping him off, I got to share with my daughters like what we had to do when because we used to travel to Pennsylvania by car, which is crazy. It's like a 20 something hour drive
Yeah.
all the way up to Lake Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And my mom had a van that she would pull the seats out of because this is the 90s.
Yeah.
Seatbelts aren't that important. She would pull the seats out of, lay a bunch of blankets down,
Yeah.
and you remember when coffee used to come in cans?
Yeah.
Yeah, how we used to buy like the tin of Folgers?
100%.
I feel like
Yeah.
you don't do that anymore. I don't know why I don't see them that often, but I think it's because we were all in K cups. But I'm like, Mom, where did we used to go to the bathroom? And my mom, without missing a beat, just turns the corner. The pecan. And I'm like, the pecan. Like, yep, that's what we did, kids. We had a Folgers can that we all pissed in front of each other because it was the 90s,
The
and
best
that's
part
just
of
what.
waking up.
Yep, exactly.
It's
They're
insane.
like,
So funny.
Cammy's face was just like, what? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, PK.
different
That's just what it was.
different times. It's a 21-hour drive. My mom didn't want to stop. There's three of us
No.
kids at that point. So,
Yeah. How can you?
but
I
anyways,
crazy. Oh my
crazy,
God.
crazy. But
I'm
we
so
had a
glad
great
that's the
time.
perfect drive home. That's awesome.
It was a good time. So, yep, we're home though. We're back in charge.
Heck
How
yeah.
was your? Because the crazy part about me going to Georgia this weekend is that you went somewhere this
I
weekend too.
also went on a trip. And Steven, it's funny that you mentioned Pennsylvania because I also went to Pennsylvania this weekend, which I didn't
That's
even know
crazy.
doing. Like, okay, so KT, my fiance, her best friend slash sister was getting married this weekend, and KT was the maid of honor. So we were definitely going to go. We're just like, all excited to see our friends and fly to Jersey and spend time with them. We stayed with them the first night. It was a lot of fun. We like helped them pack stuff and do all this stuff. It was a lot of work, like we like
Oh,
moved
weddings are
around,
so busy,
it's like
dude.
I felt like a roadie for their wedding, and it was pretty great. Like it made me feel good. Dude, like if there's anything I like, it's like I love being like feeling like I'm helping people, but I also love feeling like I have a purpose. Where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
if you give me a quest, I'm like,
Kind of
okay,
like when on my sister's wedding, even we kind of had like these weird
yeah,
little mini. You and I basically saved the sound of that wedding.
100%. Yeah, Steven, I will tell you a story, and I'm not going to be modest about this, Steven. I was a hero at this wedding, and I'm
Ooh,
so excited about it. Okay, and I can't wait to tell. I'm gonna tell you the story because like it's true and it's freaking hilarious, and it's so
true and hilarious.
even and it's so like what happened is so out of my character generally speaking that it just like makes me laugh every time I think about it. And so I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But it was just so silly. Anyway, Steve, when we get there, we stay with the bride and groom, and they're obviously not married yet. We're hanging out. We have a great time. The following day, we all get in our separate cars with the stuff, and we bring it to the venue, which is this beautiful large campsite. Right? It's like in the
That's awesome.
Poconos. It's in this like it's like out in the mountains, like deep in the woods, like Pocono area, where it's like just trees, like a giant campground in these mountains. Right? It was gorgeous. It was wonderful. It's like I would recommend anyone staying there. It's called Triple Brook.
Triple Brook.
Yeah, it's called Triple Brook. So, but it was really great, dude. So we go there, Steven. The very first night, my fiance ends up going and staying in her best friend's cabin. So I'm in a cabin by myself, and I'm like
Just by yourself?
just by myself, Steve.
That's terrifying.
Dude, so I'm in a cabin by myself. To make matters worse, dude, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet, nothing is working, and I didn't know this was going to be the case. So I didn't bring anything to read or do.
You're just existing in this cabin
I was
by yourself.
by myself. So Steven, I'm just in this cabin by myself. And all I had, I did have electricity. There's no AC, there's a fan, and there's the sounds of nature. You know? So like this is my life, okay? We didn't have much food. Like we had like little snacks. I was just like, this is me now. Like this is all I don't know what I'm
You're
doing.
like Bear Grylls, just this is like into the wild. Like I very much imagine the episode of The Office where Michael goes out into the
Oh,
wilderness for 3 hours.
dude. Oh, okay.
You're like cutting your pant legs off to make like
I'm like,
head food.
I pee on my shirt so I don't
Yeah.
get, dehydrated or whatever. Dude, okay, so much like you, there's like a little creek behind, like right behind our cabin. It's like gorgeous. I'll like show pictures of our cabin and stuff. It's really cool. But dude, it was creepy and weird. It was warm, but not, it wasn't unbearable. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like terrible because like up there it was pretty nice weather. It was like, it
Mhm.
was decent. So I was comfortable.
I mean, even Georgia wasn't. I mean, Georgia was still warm, but it was definitely cooler than Florida. So I imagine Pennsylvania was probably at least 10 or 15 degrees even cooler than where I was. So
Oh yeah, it was nice, dude. But so the following day, right? It's the day of the wedding. The wedding's gonna be at 4 o'clock, so we're supposed to get there around 3 o'clock. I wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, just like in nature by
I'm back.
myself.
No Wi-Fi,
No Wi-Fi,
no
nothing,
signal.
no signal. I'm just sitting there. So I will say I got a lot of coloring done this week because it's
That's
all I
awesome.
could do while I was there, which was cool. But so I'm sitting there. I was like filming videos of myself being stupid on my tablet and stuff, just like being silly. It was so funny. I had nothing to eat. I was so freaking hungry. And Katie finally like she brought me over like this platter of snacks that they had at the in like the bride's, the bridal cabin or whatever. And I was just like, yes, like I was an animal, right? And then
Just a
it's just
feasting
a
on real.
feral. I belonged. I was a cryptid this weekend, Steven. I was just in this little weird cocoon of the
It's
woods.
the rare pale Florida boy.
So I
They
don't
don't
know.
usually come this way.
Oh my God. So Steven, so finally, right? I'm like at this point, and you know how I am. I love my alone time. I love being by myself and doing things by myself. But when you're stuck in a cabin in the woods and there's no one around and there's nothing to do except just be in the woods, and it was raining most of the day. So I couldn't even like go take a walk around the woods
You were
comfortably.
just trapped in this
Trapped in this little cabin.
this future not future cabin, basically.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm sitting there. I'm just like, what do I can't wait for this wedding. I'm like, I'm so excited to just see another human person. And I don't know any of these people, right? Like I only know the bride and groom, and that's it. That's like end of list. Um, so finally, 3 o'clock comes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get ready. I put my suit on, put all my stuff on. I drive up there, and I'm super early because the wedding doesn't start till 4. So I'm like sitting up there awkwardly while like like everyone's setting up and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I can't help. Can I help? No, it's weird. Finally, it's time comes, and this coordinator is like, okay, if you're not in the wedding, go sit like where it's going to take place down there, like in this hill. It was a nice little like pond area. It was beautiful, where they set up all the chairs and like the archway and all this stuff. And it was gorgeous, right? So I walked down there. As soon as I get down there, it starts to rain on me.
Oh no.
So I'm just getting rained on, and thankfully, I met someone. It was one of the groomsmen's wives or fiance. This girl Amanda, and she had an umbrella, and she's like, "Here," and I was like, "Yes! Oh my God, I made a friend." So
Stuck in the same situation. She was like in her own cabin.
exactly, she was, yeah, probably she's doing the thing like she has to be on her own while her fiance is off doing his like groomsman.
Groom duties or whatever.
You know how it works. So finally, dude, the wedding happens. It was beautiful. It was a wonderful ceremony. The sky perfectly cleared up just in time for them to come down, do
That's
this.
awesome.
It was, dude, it was like kismet, like wonder, like Stephen. When I tell you, I was texting KT saying like I'm getting nervous about this rain and these clouds because when I tell you like it was a blanket over us, I'm not exaggerating. Like literally, it was just the entirety of the sky was dark gray, and it was just raining. And then right around like 3:50,
Ceremony time.
it just parted and there was just perfect blue. It was gorgeous skies. Everything had this like shimmer. It was warm because obviously there was, humidity, like,
From the
the
rain
from the
hitting all
rain.
the stuff. Yeah.
Um, but they dried off the chairs. Everything was fine, and they started the ceremony very quickly, right as the sun came out. And it was beautiful, and like, dude, it was perfect. And of course, like being in the situation I'm in, where I'm like trying to plan this wedding with my fiance, and I see her walking up as the maid of honor, and like she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is like,
This is coming up too for us, like, but in much greater roles.
oh, dude. So it was. It was a beautiful wedding, and it was a really nice moment. I felt really cool to like it felt great to be a part of that and like be a part of her friend group, and like her friends like really seemed to like me, and they accepted me really quickly, and like we're
That's
really
awesome. That's always great.
but I was starving. I was so freaking hungry, and I was like, I can't wait to get over there and get any amount of food. So finally, so like after
One of the
this,
best parts about weddings is there usually is some pretty decent
yeah,
food.
yeah, dude.
It won't be the best things you've ever had, but they're solid. They're better than family gatherings
Yeah,
typically.
it's
So
right. Dude, so I get over there, and they do the like cocktail hour and all this stuff, and I'm like eating everything I can, all the cheese I could possibly eat, everything. They also had an open bar, so I was sitting there by myself. Like I started making friends with the people sitting around me. I was like talking to them a little bit. But I started just drinking, right? I'm drinking, and I was feeling like loose. Like I was feeling okay. I wasn't like drunk or anything, but I was feeling
mhm.
like, oh, like oh, like not quite blueberry wine Steven, but I was getting there. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, okay.
I'm
And then
part of
like
the way there.
yeah, and then so then like finally the bridal party comes, and like I get to spend time with KT for the first time all day. So I'm
That's
just
crazy. Because yeah, they got so much stuff they have to do as
they
the
have so
bridal
much stuff.
party.
Exactly. And it's 6 o'clock, and I'm finally get to see my fiance, and kiss, and she gives this amazing, maid of honor speech and all this, and we're dancing, and we have such a great time. And Steven, I'm gonna tell you, throughout the night, okay? Throughout the night, I had little interactions with a bunch of people, right? Like just like little things. When you're like waiting in line for a drink, and you end up talking to someone for one reason or another, and you have little conversations, and you get to know people. I just so happened, just happened magically to get to know the bride's entire family from Australia. Okay?
That's crazy.
Okay, so I just happened to, throughout the night, have random conversations without realizing. I mean, I realized as I met them, I was like, "Oh, you're one of the Australian people." Like, it's funny that okay, I didn't say that to them, but I
It's
was
a
just
very easy way to decipher who her family is because of
yeah,
that.
100%.
How'd
Uh,
she find herself in Pennsylvania? Or New Jersey, actually.
yeah, yeah, it's a whole thing. So this is what happens. Okay, music's going on all night. People are dancing, having a good time. We're all having a great time. The bridesmaids and groomsmen all get together, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we really need to get the Aussie family to dance on the dance floor. Like they're not dancing for some reason. Like they're not. I mean, they're older people. They're not. They probably don't feel comfortable dancing to like this, like to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drop down. Whatever."
Gotta play some AC/DC, bro. They'll get up for it.
It's funny that you said that because guess
Oh,
what?
really?
Guess what? Okay, so this is what happens. Stephen, Stephen, inexplicably, magically, needlessly, aggressively, arrogantly, past Anthony, drunk Anthony says to the entire bridal party, I can do this. Stephen, I've never met these people before this day, okay? I've never met a single one of these people before this day. However, I was like, I have Slumdog Millionaire, like all of these people. Like I have some
You,
interaction with every
you have
single
like all their like key moments of their lives.
yeah. So I was like, I have been there for these people at some point throughout this night where like like they know me, they know my intention, and I'm gonna make this happen one way or another, right? Steven, so I go up there and I literally just look at them and I just plead with them and I say, listen, I want everyone to like me here. I need you guys to do me a favor.
I need you to be a
I
solid.
need you to do
I
me a
need you to
solid.
come. You need to come in. You need to come in hard for this
You
American
gotta
boy.
come in hard for
Okay.
this wedding. I was like, listen, I was like, so I went to I went to all of them. I was like, what do I have to do to get you all on the dance floor? And so some of them were like, it's not gonna happen. Like, not gonna happen. And I literally, Steven, literally went in the back of my brain and I was like, come on. And I started saying like all of the Australian slang that I could think of from like Harmontown episodes that I'd seen. I was like, True Blue, Fair Dinkum, like, let's go. And I started just saying things.
And they're just getting bombarded with slang.
100%. And Steven, so they started coming forward, coming soon. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? We might help this guy. He seems desperate and crazy. But her dad was like, we need tell him to play a highway to hell, and maybe we'll come. And I was like, I'll do it for you. I will make. I was like, I just like arrogantly, needlessly, confidently, Stephen. I said to him, I'll make that happen.
I'm gonna make that
And
happen.
I was like, you get up there. I'm making that happen. So they all got up in that moment and walked to the dance floor as a different song played. And they're like, this isn't AC/DC. And I was like, hang on, give me a minute. Dude, I ran up to the DJ.
You need to interrupt this song this second.
Steven, this first of all, let me paint a picture of the DJ real quick. He looked just like Adam Levine from Maroon 5. Exactly like him.
It was him.
I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm trying to be an actor now, bro. I have to like go
I'm like studying for this role where I play this DJ that's like super hot and nails a bunch of chicks. This is something I'm not really used to. Wink,
yeah.
wink.
So he
You
100
disgusting motherfucker. Listen.
okay, so like this like Maroon 4 singer, okay? Dude, I go up to this guy. I go up to this guy and I say, "Hey, I need you to play Highway to Hell from AC/DC." And Steven, when I tell you this man's face went, "Pfft, no." Like that, like Steven, like the air, like the cocky, like the arrogance on his freaking face when he dismissed this, right? And I went, no. And I like Steven, not like me at all to be this way, but I
To be
literally,
like this demanding. But like,
I
no,
was,
the bride's family is up
and
there.
that's what I said.
They're from Australia.
I
They need
literally,
to hear an artist from their fucking country
I
slash
literally, so,
continent.
so I say to this like Adam, Leving or whatever. I'm like, listen, Adam Leving, the Aussies need this. They came all this way. Play Highway to Hell, and he's like, all right, and like kind of like, all right, fine, I guess. Dude, I was like, and I even said to him, I was like, I know it sounds stupid. They need it. It's good. It's important. And he was like, okay. So dude, they exploded. They all were
I unlocked it.
fun, and it was so great. And I felt so good for having them. I was like, I freaking did this. I don't even know how. I willed this into existence. There was no excuse for it.
It
Passing
was literally just throughout the day setting up for this critical ACDC moment.
that's what it was. There was no other excuse for it. It was just like those little moments were enough to prime them accidentally, just subconsciously, to be more susceptible to the bard-like charm that I magically pulled from my
It's
chest.
so funny because like when you mentioned Australians, like the only thing I could think of as an American that I
Yeah,
know I can 100% relate to an Australian with is the fact that we know ACDC and they know
yeah.
ACDC.
It's
That's
listen.
that's our bridge, and then we'll work
It's
from
we know
there.
AC/DC and we know what a knife is and or isn't. Those are
Yes.
the things we get.
I'm not sure if Crocodile Dundee is like a Pikachu to them, where it's just like this mascot of something that they don't represent,
Listen, there's
but
no way. That's them all
that
day.
is 100%.
Steve Irwin as well. But you
Steve
know,
Irwin's like the best thing to ever come out of Australia for
oh dude,
sure. But he's like also the best thing to ever really come out of the world. So I mean, it's not like even a slight
Steve
on
Irwin was
Australia.
like the Bob Ross of Australians. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like he's like like
just
the
perfect.
sweetheart, like love everything, but also like, oh, I'm a badass.
He was such a good person that his children, just birthed from his nature, are also the most kindest, sweetest kids. Like, weren't even able to unfortunately be raised by him, but were just, they're just a wonderful family. Anyways,
No, but dude, that was incredible. And then the following day is when we were like cleaning everything up, and we were cleaning everything up, and that's when I just like we ended up going to this diner, and it was just like I had that whole situation with being where they filmed Friday the 13th, which was really cool. It was
so
just like an
cool.
unbelievable situation. But anyway, so that was our weekend. Steven, before we like move on to like our, how do we do and what do we do next, I just want to briefly touch on something. Someone commented, Steven, and normally this stuff doesn't bother me, but
Oh, I think I saw the comment
yeah,
on the actual video from last week.
yes, yeah. So, Steven, normally this doesn't bother me because I know us. We've known each other for freaking 20 something years. I love us. I know our relationship very well. And I, I know myself. I know that I'm a storyteller. I'm a
Hmm.
talker. And I can be, verbose to an extent, However, I also know that someone has to lead the conversation here, right?
Absolutely. Every radio program, every podcast, every show has the guy, and then their bestie or their producer or whoever that they're spitballing things off of. That's just the formula for literally every sort of talk program ever.
ever.
Okay.
So,
Could I talk more? There are times,
of
but
course.
like, I need you all to understand something very, very firmly. Anthony doesn't overtalk me. It's just sometimes, most times, I'm exhausted and I still respond. I still come up with things and
Mhm.
but I never feel like I can't interrupt him. In fact, I've interrupted the point he was trying to make this entire. He hasn't even gotten to the what we're talking about. I just already knew what he was talking about, so I'm just jumping the gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I saw that and I thought it was silly. Of
So
course, maybe they're not someone that watches every week,
So
so
let me give context. So what Steven's saying when like he interrupted me trying to say the thing. What happens a lot of the time to us? A lot of the time it'll seem like I talk, like I front load things a lot because I give context to what's about to happen, and then we go back and forth a little bit and have a
mhm.
conversation. This time, for instance, there was a comment on our YouTube, and it simply said, "Take turns talking." um, which is like a rude way to say anything, but also just kind of a faulty method of thinking. Like it's a terrible perspective to have in a conversation, really. And like, so my response to them was, "This isn't Pokemon,"
Mhm.
because just like for instance, you just said while we're talking because you're responding to me in naturally, and because we've known each other forever, you're free to interrupt me, you're free to talk whenever you want, and I do.
Absolutely. And honestly, though, think in retrospect, thinking about that comment, though, I mean, he could very well just have been slinging as much mud at me for not talking. Like, not maybe it wasn't even directed at you either. Maybe it was just like a simple, like, you guys need to banter a little bit more back and forth. Which I mean, to some extent, I can see where I really. Another thing you all need to understand is that Anthony does like all of the show prep. But what I've been trying to do lately is because I really just come in and react to Anthony. That's basically what my position is on the podcast for forever now. Is like Anthony just has so many interesting things to talk about or bring up, and I just react to them. So what it ends up looking like a lot of the time is that I'm the listening party who's responding. I'm like basically you in the audience responding to Anthony's like thoughts. And that's kind of on me too, to some extent. Like I was saying, that's why I
So,
brought Faith
so
Manji to the table
Yeah,
today.
and
And
so I
like,
was gonna say, I'm glad you brought Faith Manji because what people like casual viewers or like first time viewers might not realize is literally every time we talk, I'm like, "Hey, dude, you have anything that you definitely want to talk?"
literally every
Every
pre-episode,
single time, and it's been
right
a
before
running joke.
record hits, that's what
Yeah,
you asked me, and I literally go, "Fuck, I
yeah,
actually did have something, but I didn't write it down." So now I'm trying to get better at putting things in my
yeah,
notes
and
throughout the week because I do encounter stuff, but I
yes,
just.
and that's
Which, by the way, side note, just to bring up something. So
Mm,
that creek, really quick, it's just
okay,
really funny.
of course.
So that creek, that we were out in those cabins, it was like ankle deep, but some places it was knee deep, right? And just the way Eddie said it, because him and Ricky were the ones that like went out into the creek trying to find fish and fish. He goes, "Yeah, man, Ricky wasn't paying attention. Like I was like looking over. You can clearly see that it was, shadowy there. So you can't see the dirt. It's probably a pretty deep spot." He goes, "All I know is we were walking about mid calf, and then Ricky disappeared." So Ricky like just felt like neck deep into the creek, and he goes, and it wasn't just once. It was like two or three times. It was just such a funny thing. Like,
Ricky just became a whack-a-mole.
yeah,
I
he just
love
kept
that so
dropping
much.
off into the creek. Like he just randomly would find like
That's
holes in the
amazing.
creek, wrong lever. Yeah, like so. Yeah, I just randomly remember that. It was so funny. The way Eddie said it, he's like, "Yeah, man, like he wasn't looking, wasn't paying attention. There he goes again. He's just freaking neck deep in the water again." It was just funny. But anyways,
Incredible. No, dude, but yeah, stuff like that. It's just, I get it. It's like I do the same thing. I literally like the Jason thing. That was such an interesting, weird coincidence that happened to me this weekend. I didn't even write it down until like right before coming here. Like, I was like, oh wait, what about that whole
it is such a crazy thing for you to just show up with a shirt, unbeknownst to you that you're at the very place the shirt is. Yeah, it's
Dude,
crazy.
come okay. Not only that, like when I say that, like, dude, it's not like I wear that shirt every day. I have a whole dresser of like shirts that I'm like, oh, I love this t-shirt. I have my barreled shirt. I have, all these shirts that I've been wearing, and I just happened to grab that one. I only brought no two shirts. I brought two t-shirts with me, and that was one of them. I happened to be wearing it on the day where Will happened to be wearing his shirt because he went there that morning, and it was just so weird. It was
That's
perfect.
so
It was
crazy.
and it was just amazing. And despite the like interesting like synchronicity of it all, I completely forgot about it. And like I wrote down all this stuff, completely forgot that it happened. Like what the hell? And it happens. So I know that happens to
It
you. I know
just and well, I think it's because life, like especially me, dude. Like my life is so like systematic. Like it's just it happens the same way most every week, and like like especially when it starts getting warmer out, dude. Like working in the sun just erases your mind of anything. It just like I come home like a sun zombie, just like torched. And I'm just like, dinner, put something on, sleep. You know. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I just need to get better about writing. But that's basically what you're seeing. I mean, like there was definitely a lot of there's a lot. I mean, like I can to some extent like even though that comment was it's just so funny how comments and words that are typed can
Uh,
come off because
oh
like
yeah.
maybe they didn't mean anything crappy. It's so funny because like text is such a weird little beast. But like I am gonna try to apply that though and try to be like more responsive and stuff. But like,
Good.
yeah, there's just sometimes where it's just like you're telling a story. I'm not gonna force ad lib, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just
Dude,
like,
that
and
and
that's the
then
thing about us. I think is we really are just so genuine that like that's just how we would converse sometimes. Sometimes
yeah.
I
Well,
I have fun things to say back, but sometimes I don't, and we just exist in the moment, you
and that's
know?
just the way it's. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Like literally what's happening right now. It's a conversation. That's why I made the Pokemon
Yeah.
comment because sometimes you'll have a story to talk. Sometimes you'll have a story to tell, and I'll sit there and sometimes I'll make little jokes around or just go, oh my gosh, and like respond or whatever. And you do the same thing when I tell stories,
Mhm.
or or sometimes we just go back and forth. It would be crazy for me to be like, Steven, I had a story today.
Care to elaborate?
I will elaborate in this moment. Are you prepared?
Yes, I use minimize so that it makes me really evasive and like you won't be able to hit me probably with whatever you're gonna say. If
So,
you played Pokemon and you used any defense altering moves or anything and it wasn't just pure damage moves, you played Pokemon wrong.
oh my God. Oh, it's probably true. I've only played a little bit of Pokemon like in real life with cards. I've never once used any defensive move unless it was the only move that the character the the
Well, it is a funny thing because like the defensive moves, like once you get to higher level of Pokemon, yes, those moves make sense. But like as a kid playing Pokemon,
no way.
what's the damage? Oh, it has the highest damage. That's the move. And yep, that's what I'm gonna use. Just how you play.
100%.
Anyways,
No, but
I
dude,
digress.
but 100%, I just think it's so funny because yes, there are going to be times where you'll talk more, I'll talk more. I'll probably talk more most of the time in the show just because it's the nature of the thing. Will that evolve over time? Sure. Yeah, whatever. Like sometimes if you come in and you're like, "Oh my God, I have these funny things." Like the time you walked in naked and you told that whole
Oh
story
my
about
gosh. That is so crazy to this day. Like, how that can be perceived on so many levels. Never spoken about ever again, though.
but it was so perfect.
I'm so careful now, though. I don't even come home until I know for sure.
You have to, right? Until you know someone's there
It's
to
crazy that my body did try to warn me, though, because I was like, no, there's no car in the driveway. And that voice in me was just like, they're here. I know it. I'm like, don't open that door. I'm like, shut the hell up, you anxious piece. Oh my God, you were right. Therefore, solidifying things you'll say to me for the next 20 years, you
Oh,
anxious voice. I should have listened to you. I know you should have. But you also told me that there was like a bear that was going to eat me when I took the trash out the other night. How do I know when you're telling the truth? That's the kicker.
that's the kicker for sure, dude. But it's true. But whenever you have stories like that, or like fun things, like of course, like you're going to lead the conversation, or I'll lead,
Mhm.
whatever. But it's just it's frustrating for me when it's like we only have so many comments, and one of them is that, and I'm just like, come on, do you have to do that? Like, do you have to be this? And like, couldn't you say it in a different way? Like anything, like come
It
on.
is surprising to me though, because like one of the things that like I'll watch sometimes on YouTube are like Pokemon Go like PvP like creators, and it is amazing how many people just like watch videos to be negative. It is like even on their channels, like it's such a niche thing, and there's so many people that are just positive and love like what they're watching and like the team building this and that, and then there's always like three or four comments per. It doesn't matter who you are, man. There's just people out there that want to like not be happy with
That's
you.
just what
It's
they enjoy
great.
is hating things. Like I was on like I posted something on Twitter. I didn't use like any social media or anything all weekend because I didn't have the internet. And I posted this silly picture of so while we were on that like in the woods with the cabins and such, we passed by this little farm that was like on the property and there were a bunch of cows. So there were a bunch of cows and we took pictures and we took some pictures with them and I posted a picture and I said something silly like, oh, we had like a moving weekend
Mhm.
with this
Just like
wedding
a
and blah, blah,
silly
blah. Like,
pod.
this is silly. The whole point of it isn't like, oh, here's the best joke I'm ever going to tell in my life. The whole point
No.
is just like, here's a silly way to like tell you what we've been up to and also look,
Mm,
cows, we saw cows this week. It's fun because like what do you I don't see cows every day. It's just
mm.
like a thing, and most people are like fine, they're making funny jokes as well, and then like this one guy is just like oh, like stick to the comics and leave comedy to the comedians or whatever. I was like, why do people have to comment like that? Like you realize that this is you, like you're needlessly negging me, like why? It's
And
not.
then and it's ironic is he's doing the same thing that he's accusing you of doing
That,
by making a lame.
and it's not even a joke, it's just an
It's not.
insult.
It's just a weird thing that like people feel like they can just say. Like I remember my grandma that one time, "Don't quit your day job."
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
that's not funny.
that's not.
You're just a bitch, honestly.
Yeah,
Like it's crazy.
it's the worst, man. Like that kind of stuff, like the don't quit your day jobs and like the leave that to the comedians. Or
It's literally so like NPC office, like the office, like or the office space. Like that's what it reminds it gives me those vibes of just like some random 9 to 5er like who hates their existence that just says like the most obvious things
yep,
ever. You
yep.
know what I'm saying? It's just bleh.
Working hard or hardly working. Like, oh my God.
Hmm.
It just drives me crazy because it's like,
What
can't
does
you?
it feel like to be a toy with prompted commands? Like, 'cause that's basically what you are. You're walking in, how's the weather? How's the weather?
Yeah,
Don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job.
yeah, because I mean, all you have to do is have the slightest amount of empathy. Like, just recognize a little bit what the intention is, and like, if someone's like, "Hey, I'm well intentioned. I'm just saying, like, I had a good week. I had a move. I went to this wedding. It was a moving situation. Hey, look, I also saw cows. I found a way to say that all in this like single tweet in a silly way while showing you a fun picture. Either appreciate it
That's
or
all
keep
it is.
like, why do you?
This isn't like
What are we
engagement.
doing?
That's the thing. I think some people are so deep-seated on the internet that they think that everything is engagement farming
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And it's just like they interact with it as if it's something
well, and
that's
even if
being used as a tool to I don't
just
know.
like what I don't, what I guess I'll never understand is like, wouldn't you want to like yes and things? You know what I mean? Like you don't want to. It's just like basic improv. If you're online, the best way to continue to get more attention and grow things and evolve the situation is the yes and. It's like, oh yeah, you saw cows. Was it an utterly amazing time? And like you joke
Yeah.
together, you make silly puns. Like some people did that and it was fun because it's like, okay, now we can talk back and forth. Or like it just now more people see this and have a good time and laugh and like make jokes together. Or the alternative, you just say something negative about my experience. How is that helpful? What do you like? What's the intention? What's the hope there? What's the best case scenario? You bother me? Is that what you want to
What's
happen?
your goal? Do you want
What's
me to like feel slightly worse about my day because of something you said?
it,
Because like it's probably not going to happen, but if that's like what you're hoping for, like you need to like rearrange your dreams, brother. Like you need to
100%. And that's I think that and that's the frustration of it all where like I see all these people having a good time and then someone's like I don't even know when not, something's for me or not. I'm like then go away. What are you doing? I don't like this isn't just go get out of here. Like I don't I just I'll
the
never.
internet has created a very it's so funny too because we've basically watched it evolve being like we're basically the pioneers of social media like we were there for LiveJournal and MySpace and Facebook and through all the different avenues and things and like it really just has like become like I don't know I almost feel like to some extent like LiveJournal and MySpace had more substance to
Oh,
it
100%,
with
dude.
interactions
As
it
as silly as they could be, I really did prefer. Like, I mean, the that's why I've been really liking Substack because Substack is essentially a live journal with like pictures and stuff as well. So it's like live journal with the
if
ability
if
to
you
share.
were a scene kid in 05,
Yeah.
06, LiveJournal was was the shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's really why I've been
You
enjoying
post it,
that
you would
so
just
much.
post like deep words about some random nonsensical thing that's happening to you that's the biggest important thing in the world, and you would just post like somewhat poetry about said thing, and then
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that,
I'll never forget. So Mike and I, we got together and we were trying to play music and he wanted to sing and I was like, okay, well we need like let's write a song and he didn't have any lyrics at the time and I didn't have any lyrics, so we literally got one of my old live journal posts
and
because
just
it rhymed for some reason and we got it
just
and that was what do you call it?
cut, cut
It
like
was Cut Like
knives.
Knives. Yeah.
Damn,
Cut Like Knives was my
haven't you realized?
Yeah, that was so we played a song called Cut Like Knives. It was just a live journal post that I made when I was being all like angsty and just like
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so funny looking back on those
yeah.
angsty moments, like hormones and like just the scene we were in at the time. It's just what it was, you
But
know.
you know what I liked about that though, as angsty and like edgy and like just kind of like depressed and emo and like existentially like drained as we all were, like it never leaked into like I'm gonna go post on someone else's stuff and say this stuff. It was just
No, it
I'm
was
gonna
all
write my
self.
own thing, and if you don't like it, like it's like there's a self-importance to it, but it's you're creating your own little planet. That's what we all do. But then when other people are like planting their dumb negative flags on our positive planets, and we're like, get out of here, like you know you
Get out of here.
get out of here. You don't
If you
belong.
haven't known me in my live journal, you don't deserve me on my ex.
Ah, it's so true. Anyway, dude, we should probably start getting out of here. So let's talk every
Yes.
week. Every week we talk about how we did and what we're gonna do next. So, Steven, how did you do this week despite everything?
I failed, but I still did get like 90% of the page done. I mean,
Okay,
like solid roughs, and then I got four panels done on like full panels
nice.
fully inked on it.
And
So,
and you're working on page 7, correct?
yes, I believe so. Right? I have six
Yeah.
uploaded already. Yeah, so yeah, it is
So
seven then. Yeah.
so I finished page 5 and I only got to start page 6 because I didn't have page 6 downloaded when I was at the cabin.
Oh, and you
I
have the
didn't have
internet.
I didn't have any internet, so it sucked. But I was able to completely finish 5, and then when we got to the airport, I forget when I started, but whatever. I started doing 6 as
And
well.
since it's nighttime, I am saving you a lot of background colors because I've been doing like the night sky in almost every panel. So it's
No, dude,
literally.
that's oh, it's been wonderful.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but instead of erasing where the stars are, I've actually been using white. So that way, when you drop a background color, it doesn't go over the white. So you should
Ooh,
be good.
okay,
Yeah.
very cool. I like that.
The moons and stuff.
Yeah, so that's I mean, so I was pretty successful this week. I didn't get it all done, but about half, so that's pretty good. What are you gonna do this week?
I'm gonna finish seven, get eight done, and try to and get nine started is my goal because
Heck
I
yeah,
want
I
to
mean,
because
we're getting
it's
close
pretty
to.
crazy. We're getting close to being done with Bloods because then you can just start ballooning it, and I can start working on Deathless again. So
Heck yeah, dude, I can't wait. And like ballooning is it's just the lettering is really
yeah, especially Bloodlust. You like I remember you freaking ballooned it in like a couple hours, I think,
yeah
last time or something
yeah it was really
crazy.
fast. I get once I get like the like fonts and everything like situated because that's
There's a lot more dialogue in this one because there's more characters juggling around, but I think you'll be okay.
oh yeah 100%. But I'm excited. So this week I'm definitely going to finish page 6 and hopefully whatever you send me. So 6,
Yep.
7, and probably 8.
Seven should be up soon because like I said, I just got the bottom panel. I am being selective. Like there was like one panel that you wanted the three witches to be in it, but they don't say anything in it. So instead of like
Okay.
ballooning the panel, I just put like the captain and bait in it. And
Okay,
then
that's
in
probably
the
fine.
bot, yeah, you'll see it'll all still flow for your words and everything.
Okay,
So
cool. But yeah, so that's what we're doing this week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of our ridiculous stories. If you have comments that have any amount of kindness in them, please post them below. Or if you want
does
to
it
critique us,
remember?
that's fine. Try to just be a decent human being about it. That would be great. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for participating. If you want to know where we got these hilarious,
I think they're sold out actually now though.
cool. Oh, are they? These helmets came from a special box set that Coheed and Cambria released for their new
That
album.
we like pre-ordered last November or
Yeah, we
something. We
ordered
just
them a
finally got
long,
them
long time. When money when we had money,
when
yeah,
money was bountiful.
it was when money flowed like beer. Wait, what? But anyway, yeah, that's where we got those. Otherwise, we love you so much, and we're so thankful for you. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do comment something for the algorithm. Hit the like
Drop
button.
those likes and
Uh,
comments. Those are very important. It
it
does
really,
make it puts the video on blast basically in
it
the
really
best
does.
way.
Yeah, make sure
Even
you.
if you want to say talk more, even if you want to say take turns talking more, please just comment something. But then put something nice after you say that, just so
Put
we know
something
that
nice.
you actually care.
Like right, hashtag talk more.
Hashtag talk more.
Or
Hashtag the dirt Kool-Aid you guys make is really good though.
yes. But anyway, we love you so much. Steven, you want to say anything else before we go?
Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for tuning in every week. We couldn't do it without you. We appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. We love you so much. Until next time, I'm Anthony,
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
and this has been We Have Issues. We'll see you next week.
Ooh. Boom!
Oh, okay. Problem with this is I cannot see anything. Yes, I am here.
What's up, dude?
What's up?
I'm not sure how long I can actually wear it for because my headphones
Oh no, no,
but
I think okay, this is what I'm thinking. Let's get through a cold open real quick and we're gonna like act like we don't have these on, okay?
okay, it sounds
That's
so
what
good,
we'll do.
dude.
Okay,